This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2022 Forest River Salem, model number 26D Okay, so we're just going to go over some of the features and talk about them, see how they work. Okay, so you have, first of all, you have crank down stabilizer jacks on this one, this scissor type, but there's an added feature here. You see this yellow piece is called a strong arm, right? Now the strong arm, just when it's in place and tightened, it'll take the forward and rearward, if that's the correct word, movement out of it. So what you do is you always make sure this is loose here, this T-handle. Make sure it's loose. Then you'll lower these. There's one on each corner, of course. You lower it, get it stabilized just how you want it, and then you'll tighten this T-handle so this inner piece can't slide through the outer piece, so it takes that movement out of it. Just remember, you always want to loosen it back up before you raise it, and so it'll come up and down. You don't have to force it. So the only time you're going to have it tightened is when it's in this position you want to stabilize. Otherwise you loosen it up, okay? That's called a strong arm. Of course, you have a power awning with LED strip. Two doors. This door goes into it's locked here. This goes into a bathroom, so that way you can get in and out of the bathroom. Your guests can get in and out of the bathroom without going through the whole trailer. We'll get in there from the inside. You have outside speakers. This is a vent for the range hood. It has a baffle in it. You can see the baffle is free now. It's not in locked position. Anytime you're venting to the outside, you want that baffle flapping freely, so it'll vent to the outside. Okay, so otherwise you can just keep it snapped shut when you're traveling or in storage, but when you're venting you always want it open or loose. Outside speakers, power, a TV signal out, so you can put a TV out here. It even has a backer plate there. Okay, now this is the fill for your fresh water tank. Now the most common way to get water to the trailer is the city water hookup, which is on the other side. But if your camp is a place without fresh water, without city water, you can pre-fill your fresh water tank and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. All the plumbing will work as though there is city water, but it'll just be pumping it from the tank. I'll show you the switch for the pump when we get inside, okay? And to drain your tank is that. It's kind of hard to see there, but that white gate valve back there is how you drain this tank, okay? Obviously your furnace vent. This is a sprayer port, so it's got a coiled sprayer. You can plug it in right there. Okay. This is the sprayer here. Okay. This is a griddle. So this is your griddle. Now you have to remember you have to plug the griddle in. I'm looking here to find the hose is inside. You can see the black hose in there. It's got a quick connect fittings on it, so the female will clamp onto here, will attach here I should say, and then I'll just get it out of the way so we can see here. The other end will attach to this quick connect right here. So that's how you get LP to the griddle, is by plugging it into the LP system right there, okay? Okay, so moving on, you have a pass-through storage here, and you have a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. It's a good one. We'll show you how it operates when you pick up. Okay, all the way at the end there you see you have your power cord, 30 amp cord, 30 feet long, and then you have your dump hose that comes with it. This attaches to a drill, so you can raise and lower your stabilizer jacks. Alright, this piece here, which normally goes up here, that's for the awning, in case you get an emergency where you can't get it rolled up. You have to pretty much read the directions, watch the video on YouTube to see how that works. It's not something I can really explain. You sort of have to look at it while you're doing it. And this crank right here, the smaller one, is for the power tongue jack in case it fails. So if you have a power tongue jack right here covered with snow, up and down, you have a hitch light on it. Now if this ever fails for any reason, you can pull this rubber plug off, put the crank on there, and you can crank it manually. So you can always get unhitched no matter what, okay? Of course, you have 2 LP tanks which are full under there. You have a deep cycle marine battery under that pile of snow there. And this is the kill switch for the battery. If you want to disconnect it, you can disconnect it right there. Okay, back to the other side of the pass-through. This is a reducer. So if you want to reduce your 30 amp plug down to a 20 amp, so you can plug it in at home, or any place that only has 20 amp, you can use that there. Most campgrounds, all campgrounds should have a 30 amp hookup though. Okay, let's move on a little bit. Your slide room, of course. These are your valves here. So you have gray valve, and then you have your black valve right here. Black valve is toilet water and waste. Of course, the gray one is sink and shower water. If you dump the black one, the black tank, you can leave the valve open like it is right now. Then bring the hose at the dump station right over to here and screw it onto your black tank flush. You do that and you can spray out the inside of your black tank and clean it out really well. Clean off the sensor so you get a good accurate reading. So that's the black tank flush there. Now this is your city water hookup that I told you about, the most common way to get water to the trailer. And this is just cable and satellite through to the inside of the trailer right there. This is our shop cord here, but that's where your power cord hooks right there. Okay, and one more thing, let me see what we have here. Just want to look around real quick and see what I can see. Okay, alright, so we're good. Okay. Of course, you have strong arms on every jack. So this housing here tells us that it's pre-wired for a backup camera, so you can get a Furrion backup camera. It's very easy to install. Just make sure you get the proper camera to fit that housing. Also, while we're looking up, the manufacturer states you should inspect the roof every 60 days. So keep in mind you need to go on the roof or have somebody go up there, check all the sealant, make sure there's no cracking or separation where water could get through, make sure there's no damage to the roof or the roofing material or the attachments, let's say by low branches or road debris flying up there. Just give it a good inspection so you can stay ahead of anything. You're just protecting your investment. Inspecting your roof should be part of your regular maintenance schedule. Okay? Alrighty, so this is your water heater. Right now it's empty and it's bypassed because we're winterized. This is your drain plug here. I'm having a hard time seeing if I'm getting a good picture here. My camera's off. Okay, yeah, so this takes an 1 1/16" 6-point socket, right? And then you have an anode rod attached to it. It screws right in there, okay? Right now it's bypassed and empty. Before you turn the water heater on, whether it's on gas or electric, you need to make sure that the water heater is in regular camping mode, and you fill the water heater tank, which is directly behind here. You fill the 6-gallon tank up before you turn it on. You can't run it dry. So always make sure to put water in it before you turn it on. Okay, so this switch here is a rocker switch, on and off. That controls the electric heating element that's behind this cover here. So to turn that on and off, you're going to use that switch right there, or at least know it's there anyway. Never run it, like I said, without water in it, or you'll burn out the heating element. So that's what that one is. And then the switch for the burner is inside. I'll show you that when we get in there, okay? All right. So let's go inside. Get out of the snow and the cold. My feet as best I can here. Okay, so hopefully we're not going to fog up here. So first of all, lights. This is a dimmer, so you just rub your thumb over it, it lights up the lights. You can see you have your awning light just lit up there. Now this switch is for your awning right here, so you can see it goes out, comes in. Never leave it out unattended. Always roll it in when you're not going to be at the campsite. You don't want it to get damaged. This is your slide room, in and out right here. Your water pump, I told you, you can turn on this water pump to pump water out of the fresh water tank. You also use it to winterize the trailer. To light your water heater on gas, right here. Remember, always make sure there's water in the tank before you turn it on. And remember, the electric switch for the electric heating element is in the lower left-hand corner on the outside, which I just showed you. Then your battery's charged, fresh water's empty, black is empty, gray empty. They graduate up in 1/3 increments, so once you get past 2/3, you gotta start thinking about dumping the gray in the black tank, of course. Okay, now this is a GFCI. There's probably 2 of them in this trailer. We'll look around, but all the plugs in the trailer, like this one here and all the rest of them, are wired through a GFCI like this. So even if it's a regular plug, it's wired through it. Even the ones on the outside are wired through it. So keep that in mind. If you're using a plug outside and it pops, you're going to reset it in here. Okay. Alrighty. Let me come over here to the remotes here. I just want to show you the fireplace remote. Put it back in the thing here. Okay, one-handed here. There it comes. Please bear with me. Okay. Okay. So let me shut this door here. Your fireplace is also a space heater. So this is the remote for it here. Turn it on, and then it's also, like I said, it's also a space heater, so it has a fan in it, so you can low, that's the fan speed there if you can see that. Then of course high. Now it's really kicking out the heat. I can feel it hit me. You can also adjust the color of the crystals, right? And then you can adjust the color of the flame however you want. Okay. And it also has a timer on it, so you can set the timer to turn it on and off when you want it to, okay? It's a really good space heater, so on those days where you don't quite need the furnace, it runs off campground electricity, so you don't, you got a limited supply of LP, so you can run this and it will really take the chill out. So, okay, let me shut it down there. Now your sound bar right here, it has a FM radio, okay? No AM, just FM radio. It has Bluetooth, so you can stream wirelessly from your phone or your tablet, whatever you have. It has a USB drive, so you could put all your albums or whatever you have on a USB drive or stick and take them with you. You know, turn them into MP3s and put them on the stick, and then you can take all your music with you if you want. This HDMI is an in, so if you need to go into the system with an HDMI, I think I was told you're bringing a TV with you. So keep in mind that, well, let me say it this way: if you want to use like a portable Blu-ray player, right? You could set it right here, plug it in here, and then you can go into the system through the HDMI if you wanted to. So that's an easy way to hook it up, for example. Okay. You also have 2 speaker zones. One is inside the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. This is your digital signal booster for the digital antenna. It should always be green like that, or you won't get a good picture. You can shut it off, but you won't. There's no point. You won't get a good picture, so you always want it on. This is just telling us this is pre-wired for a public Wi-Fi signal booster, basically. If you're interested, you can go to kingconnect.com and look at their different products. But the one you want has an antenna on the roof, and there is a place, a port up there, or a cover up there covering wires for to hook up the antenna, right? And then the router would go right here, and you plug it in here, it would sit right here. So it's just a way to boost public Wi-Fi so your family gets better reception, okay? All right. Okay, so let's see here. So if we go this way, there's your keys hanging right there. This is the remote control for your sound bar. All right. This is your range hood vent. Remember I showed you the baffle on the outside? If you're going to run the fan, you always want that baffle open. Of course it has a light on it too. Your microwave works like any other microwave. Your range, always travel with the glass cover shut when you're traveling. So you have 5 knobs here. You have the sparker, 3 burner knobs and then the oven here. So the sparker you turn clockwise. So let me just turn the middle one on so you can see it right there. It's that simple. Now the oven is a little bit different. It has a pilot light all the way at the bottom in the back. Maybe we can see it if I spark it. You can sort of see it back there. So what you do is you go to the oven knob, you go to the picture of the flame, which means pilot light. You depress it, keep it depressed during the whole lighting procedure. Then you start sparking it with the other hands until you see the pilot light down here light. Once it lights, you still hold it for another 10 or 15 seconds to heat up the thermocouple. Then you go to operating temperature, right? When you shut it off, of course the flame goes out, but the pilot light does too. So you always have to relight the pilot light anytime you use the oven. So keep that in mind. Like I said, you always want to travel with this shut. Here. The refrigerator is a 12-volt compressor refrigerator. Always keep this in place so the doors don't get dented when you're traveling. But it's a nice size refrigerator and it runs on 12-volt DC. Okay? So this device down here is the power converter. This converts AC to DC power. It'll also automatically detect what kind of battery you have. You have a lead acid battery on there, so it knows that. You don't have to set it. So what happens here is when you're plugged into shore power, these circuit breakers are 110 AC just like the ones you have at home, and they're all labeled, right? Then the power is converted to 12-volt DC over here. You have 12-volt fuses, and they're all labeled, right? That's where you get 12 volt from that in the battery. Now, speaking of the battery, this is also a battery tender, so it's as long as you're plugged in, it's going to sense how much energy your battery has and needs. And if it's topped off, it'll just trickle a couple amps up there to maintain it. If it's low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever it needs to charge it. So this will always keep your battery charged when you plug in. When you're towing down the road, your tow vehicle's alternator will send power through the charge line and keep your battery charged too. So you're being charged when you're going down the road and then when you're plugged in by this power converter here. This device here is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. It should always be green like it is. If not, get it serviced. If it goes off, you just want to take everybody outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off at the front, figure out what's going on, okay? There's also a test here so you can hear what it sounds like if you want. But that's your carbon monoxide and LP gas detector. Okay. Now, the pantry here. To winterize the trailer, the water pump is behind this panel here. So you got 4 screws holding it on. All the screws in the trailer are number 2 square-headed screws. So you need a number 2 square-headed driver for your drill if you don't have one. And you would remove that, and that's where you draw the antifreeze in, okay? The water heater, just so you know, I'll pick this up. You're going to remove the panel back there, and you can access your water heater. Actually, you probably access it through the top here. But keep in mind the bypass valves are in the back of the water heater, which is in that corner. Okay. All right. Thermostat works like they all do. You just hit the mode button to light it up. Then you'll just keep hitting it to go through. Next, you would have fan. Fan is just the air conditioner running without the compressor to circulate air. Then you would have cooling, full air conditioning, and you'll have high and low, and then low auto and high auto. It's always best to run the air conditioner on auto fan. It's always the best way to go, and that would be heat, which is your LP furnace. Okay. All right. So your sink and shower work like any other sink and shower. Okay. The toilet is an RV toilet, so it has a flush pedal right here. Right. Directly below here is the black tank. Right. So when you get to the campground, you hook up your power and your water. You'll come in here. Your black tank is empty, which is we'll call it dry. So your black tank's dry. You can't use the toilet with a dry black tank. The smell will be overwhelmingly terrible. Plus, it can get clogged up. So the first thing you do is you'll put in a dose of chemical right in the bowl there. Then you'll step on the pedal and hold it down, and water will come swirling around. You'll put at least a gallon of water in there along with the chemical. You can use more water. Some people do. It's up to you. But at least a gallon of water and chemical. Then it's ready to be used, but you can't use it dry. Remember that. Now, if you're going to stay at the campground for another week, but your black tank was full and had to be flushed, for example, you'd flush it, but then because you're going to be using it for another week, you'd repeat the procedure. Chemical and a gallon of water, and then you're all set till you dump the black tank next time, okay? Never use it dry. There's your fan right there for, you can use that for the obvious reason, but also if you have like, you're getting condensation, you got a bunch of people over, it's that time of year where the temperature is just at that point, you start to see a little condensation. You can turn this fan on and it'll pull it all out too, so keep that in mind. A lot of people neglect to know that, or to do that, I guess. Okay, okay, so 2 bunks. You can drop this table down onto the cleats right here, right? Turn it into a bed. This piece removes, right? Then you can also, this is a jackknife sofa, so you can jackknife it flat, turn it into another bed. So you have your main bedroom up here. You've got 2 bunks plus 2 auxiliary beds, so you're in good shape when it comes to visitors and relatives and that sort of thing. As we move forward, there is some storage underneath the bed. You can pull up on it. That's a closet there, and it's a surprisingly large closet for an RV. It's really nice. You can hook a TV here. There's the backer for your bracket. You just need a basic bracket that tilts forward and up. You don't have to go side from side, just forward and up. Just a basic bracket, so you can adjust it so when you're laying down you can see the TV. So you don't have to get anything elaborate for that. Also, I almost walked away here. This is your emergency window here. You'll push it all the way through if you need to escape. Then you grab this red tab and pull the screen out, and that's how you would escape in an emergency. Okay? Okay, I think I've covered it. Let me look around a little bit here to make sure I didn't forget anything. I think we've got it. Smoke detector, of course. The buttons that don't turn on with the switch have or the lights that don't turn on with the switch have a button right in the middle there. Okay? Alright. So, I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting your roof regularly. The manufacturer says 60 days. Just give it a good look over or have somebody do it just to stay ahead of any issues. People, generally speaking, do not inspect the roof enough, so make sure you inspect the roof. And also, right now this is winterized, so the water's been purged from the system, replaced with antifreeze. Your water heater is bypassed and empty. So make sure you, before you turn on the water heater when you're going to go camping, make sure you put the valves in the correct camping position and you fill the water heater before you turn it on, okay? Thank you.